Well, I just completed about 45 minutes of hard running, 30 minutes at 100%, and the rest of the time was between 50 and 25%. And I was gathering the data on the test points and how much the fan voltage was, and putting in the time to give me some timelines on how the temperature increased and decreased and what happened. Started out at 3 volts, and I wasn't getting a very good response. It got up to 125 C, which is 270. Excuse me, 260 Fahrenheit, which is hot. I went up to 4.2. It dropped a little bit, then it started coming back up. I went to 5.5. I went to 6. It still came up to 120. Pardon me. So then I took the voltage up to 9, which is about as much as I ever want to take it. And it did drop. It did drop. It did drop. We got down to 105, or 115, 110, stuck around there. There you go. Now, I cut the speed 50%, and it went down to like 105 at 9. Then I thought, well, I'm going to drop the voltage. And I dropped the voltage at 6 volts, and it went down to 107 at 50% speed. At 6 volts, which the motor could live, but it was still pretty warm. The little motor was very hot during that period. I also wanted to note I have no heat sinks on these transistors, and they all deserve heat sinks. So then I sat at 25 volts, let it run at 3 volts, and it steadied about 100 degrees and was stable at 100 degrees, 80 on the PC board. 100 on the heatsink portion of the transistor, which is pretty darn hot, but it's okay. I forget what the 100 is, but I'm going to look it up. I don't have the... it's less than 260, obviously. Any case, so now the day's over and taken up. My next plan, since this is a kludged, modification of an alpha, I'm going to design and print a real unit that has the main pipe going straight down. And I also am going to add heat sinks to all of these silver tabs that stick up right there. And I'm trying to think of a way to increase how this airflow would come around, but I don't have an answer for that yet. But I think I would do those two things and do a retest on it. It should perform a little better. And I also had a air leak in here. I could hear it, and the fan was rubbing a little bit. It was making some noise. So the fan wasn't working as well as it could have. The heat sinks are missing, and it was a kludge design just to do the test. Mostly I wanted to do the smoke test, but I came here because this is where the rubber meets the road. I've got to get these chips cooler, and it looks like I could run them at I could probably get them down to 100 from 120. But I'm going to see what the heat sinks will do, and a real design of the modification, and we'll do another test. Tomorrow's an all-day day. I've been told. I've been doing chores off and on, so I got to get this thing ironed out. I'm confident we're going to have something we can use, so I'm still going to search for a real fan. Had hopes on fans, but the ones I got just won't run. Either they melt, they overheat, or I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. They fit the space perfectly. They turn on and they blow, but when I try to run them off the track power, they don't work. So they don't like my energy source, I guess. AC converted to DC, 15 volts brought down to 5 volts into the fan, not working. Any case, I feel like we're okay. I'm going to continue with this track for another day anyway. I'm going to continue to search out some fans. I got some buddies in the 3D print world that know how to get fans, and they know sources for fans. I'm going to ask them to find me something. I'll probably get 2 or 3 of several versions. I'm still waiting on one screw shaft for my printer the mini mill, But underneath all of this mess is my new laptop. It's a i5 Gen 13 Asus. It'll be fine. I've loaded the software on it. I haven't tried to control anything, but I loaded the software on it. And we'll be getting back to that. I want to get that 283 figured out. I got to get this thing buttoned up, take that chassis, that body off, and send the engine and the tender assembly with the coal to Leon for testing. Another good point, during this, I ran 30 minutes at full speed straight, just sitting here, no load, okay, but the motor ran fine. The motor itself. This is a DC converted 3D printed fields. 3D printed fields with permanent magnets is the armature for this. And it just ran 30 minutes straight at full speed. I was happy with that. Okay, I'll get this out. You guys can compare these notes with what you saw with the smoke pulling in, which did work. I mean, it was pulling smoke in like crazy, but that was at 9 volts, like I said. I ran this up to 9 volts and it was stable. It was about 100 degrees, but I'd like to get it lower. I'd like to keep it lower, that's all. But we'll do the heat sinks and redesign and do a test, okay, later, tomorrow. Tomorrow, another day. Bye, gang.